Hey, hi, good afternoon. It's Lisa here. Happy Saturday. I am back from what seems like an eternity being gone. It was actually only about 11 days, including 2 travel days. Um, we got back into town Thursday night, and yeah, it was a long day Thursday, really long. I made mention of it in my post this morning, my weekly update post, and yeah. Then yesterday morning, I went to work for about I worked from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then I got home, and since my sister was in town, we were discussing stuff regarding my dad. He was ill while we were gone. Um, and he was actually not feeling good before we left, and he didn't tell us because we were dealing with my sister-in-law's dealing with getting ready to go down to Texas. And anyway, so she we were getting caught up on what was going on with my dad, and now finally today is sort of back to normal. We took my sister to the bus to get a ride down to the airport, and came back, and I'd got some work done this morning. I got my update post done this morning, so that was good. Before we left, I had one of my major tasks done before we had to leave. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy. My sisters, while we were gone, decided that it would be a good idea to get my dad a separate an external keyboard and mouse for his computer, for his laptop. They thought it would be better ergonomically. And in one aspect, it is, but it kind of pushes my dad further away from the computer. They like raised it up on a couple books, and then he's got the keyboard down in front of him. And then, he wants to touch, he wants to have his hands on the desk, so he touches something and everything goes away that was on the screen, and he's like really frustrated. And I tried to tell my sisters because I knew this was going to happen before they even decided to do this, and nobody listens. I'm like, so when this started this morning, after my sister left, the one who initiated all this, that's when he decides to say that he doesn't like it. I'm like, oh my god, tell them you don't like it. Unreal. So now we gotta deal with that. And if I push it back further, it's gonna push it away from him further, just so he has somewhere to put his hands on the desk. Oh. So that's one thing we're dealing with. But you know what? I don't care because I'm back home. And most of the stuff that we're dealing with now with the estate, we can deal with remotely. We already have a real estate broker who's come to look at the house. We have someone who's going to do the estate sale who works with the real estate broker. He was with her. Um, they take like 35% of whatever you make on the estate sale, which is fine because that saves us a whole lot of work. And then we got together with one of my sister-in-law's friends, who's been friends with her since she's been down there for like 40 years. So she's already knows people who want some of the furniture. So yeah, that's gonna be good. Getting all that, we can do that. We were given the go ahead to do that, and then we have to wait until he's appointed executor officially to do the rest of the stuff, like put the house on the market. But we did find out too that, well, the lawyer needed the original will, And the will that Roy had was from 1993. So when we went looking for the original, we discovered that she had redone her will in 2015. In the first will, she had him as the executor and his kids as the beneficiaries, about which he wasn't pleased. When we dug up the new will, when we dug up the original that turned out to be the new will that she redid, it names him as the executor and the beneficiary and the kids after that. So, and then, well, of course, there's accounts that have beneficiaries on them that don't have to go to probate, which is great. Unfortunately, she didn't get the chance to really protect herself financially and get everything in a trust before her health declined too much. Unfortunately, also, we weren't close enough, physically to help her do all that. We didn't really know what was going on a lot with her health. I mean, he talked to her weekly, but it was more focused on, her therapy and how she was getting along that way, but the other stuff wasn't discussed. So we're discovering this after the fact, which isn't fun. I mean, it's never fun when somebody dies, obviously. It sucks. The funeral was nice. I mean, as funerals go. She had a traditional Jewish funeral, and we did the shovel with the dirt into the grave. That was interesting because we had we have the open casket and all that, and because he said he was upset because he didn't get to see his sister, so he doesn't really have that closure. I mean, when we found out that she was brought into the ED in the hospital as a Jane Doe. They didn't even know who she was. She had no paperwork. So however, they found out that my husband was her next of kin. They called him because they didn't know she had a DNR. So she was not really responsive, but she wasn't completely gone yet. They had her on life support, which they, had they had the paperwork, they wouldn't have done. Oh, yeah. So it was weird because this friend of hers who was helping us out, she was the one who called and said that Annette had passed away. And then we found out the emergency department doctor called and said, well, no, she is not gone yet, but it's minutes away. So that was weird for Roy. That was a little bit much. So anyway, now we're dealing with the other stuff afterwards. And like I said, the only thing, we have to go back there, and it's probably going to be in May to do the hearing for him to be assigned as executor. They have this lottery thing down there, the 2 probate courts. I think I mentioned that before. Well, we found out before we left that we got assigned to probate court too, so we'll be going back down there for a 15-minute hearing. Yes, we have to travel again for a 15-minute hearing. So ridiculous. Such a waste of resources, but whatever. Now we know. Now we can plan. That's the way it is. So anyway, that's about it for today. Again, I'm just really glad to be back in our home, in the bed, our own bed. I love being back in our own space. So I will be back here again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. It's a sunny, bright day here. Rather mild. A little too mild for this time of year. So I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, to tell you the truth. I'm waiting for winter to come again, but we'll see. Anyway, talk to you soon and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.